My folks were fabulous. I was very blessed to have great parents. They were fun, they were funny, they took care of each other, they were madly in love. I'm Dori Gillam. I live in Seattle, Washington, and I was a caregiver for my parents for the last 7 years of their lives. It was a challenge, but I was very privileged to be able to take care of my parents. Well, here's my mom and dad. My dad's in his Coast Guard uniform, and here they are, of course, just looking at each other madly in love. My folks were married for over 70 years, and they were in caregiving for the last 7 years of their lives. They died at age 95. She died, and then he died 30 days later. My mother had some unfortunate medical mistakes, and it caused her to be in a wheelchair for the rest of her life. And my father, being older, couldn't lift her and take care of her, so I jumped in as caregiver. My parents' desire was to live in their own home until they died, and fortunately, we were able to do that for them. The way the caregiving worked was my mother needed round-the-clock skilled nursing care, so I not only was their caregiver on many days of the week, but we hired caregivers to come into their home. As my parents aged, my mother's condition really stayed pretty much the same. She was in a wheelchair, and we transferred her from wheelchair to bed, and my father began to get some dementia as he began to age. The caregiving went on for 7 years, so it was something where you don't know how long you'll need to do the care, and that adds to a caregiver's exhaustion and kind of feeling of helplessness. It's a crushing responsibility, and I also saw it as a supreme privilege because I had unconditional love from my parents, and I loved them unconditionally. It made it easier, but it doesn't change the fact that you still have to be there. Many caregivers are unaware that the services are out there or how to get a hold of them. Caregivers need lots of support, and they don't always know what they need. There are caregiver respite groups, there are caregiver support groups. There are a lot of things available through AARP and through local area agencies on aging. Often caregivers are so preoccupied with the details of caregiving, the medical appointments, sometimes legal intervention, physical therapy appointments, counting out pills, that they're in such a zone, they actually can't remember that they might need help, or they can't remember to make a phone call to ask someone else for help. What do you do? There are plenty of things we can learn now about what would happen if we needed care. What kind of care would we prefer? Do we prefer to stay in our own home? What is our financial situation? Do we have a large family that could jump in? And AARP and your local municipal agencies can help with that.